everyone. Welcome to another edition of Check-In. I'm Sarah Oleski. He is Jamie Thomas. We are going to don't look at me like that. It's because I just feel very out of sorts this morning. I need about half an hour more time.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. So nice to see all of you. I didn't say it's Friday because I'm not exactly sure what day of the week it is, but we are here. We are excited for game number 50 of the season.
It is so exciting to be here today.
With the Utah Hockey Club coming into town. It is wonderful of all of you to join us.
Matt Hyman, #gardening. That's good. We have a lot of flowers to show you today, and you would not believe the dirt that you can use nowadays.
We are looking forward to a great show. I'll try to bring a little bit more energy with it. With the Utah Hockey Club in town. If you are watching us on X, Facebook, YouTube, whatever it might be, welcome. So happy to have you join us and join us in the chat as well. Don't forget to hit that like button and hit subscribe as well. The Jets home for the next two games against Utah and Calgary.
Yeah, it's like we just saw the Utah Hockey Club.
Feels we just saw Calgary
just
too.
Yesterday, I just saw Calgary too, and Ryan Leslie.
A chance at redemption.
Yeah, it is. And I think I was talking with Jim Toth yesterday on the Jim Toth show.
Yep.
On 680 CJOB, and he was just talking about, do you feel bad for Utah when they come here on Friday because of there's probably some bad blood or some frustrations by the Jets, by the way. But I don't think they're not so much frustrated with Utah. I think they're more mad at themselves with the way they played there in Salt Lake City. But I think the frustration won't be there anymore considering how well they responded in Denver against Colorado Avalanche.
Absolutely. And playing against a Utah team, facing a Utah team that played last night in Minnesota, 4-0 winners, but they are in the second game of back-to-backs. Question of the day for you. Let's get right to it.
We just talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of the response that you saw in Colorado? I mean, we know all of the different adjectives used to describe the performance in Utah.
Yeah.
Certainly embarrassing was one that we heard from many. They came back and certainly bounced back with a great performance in Denver.
That's and the majority of our viewers watching the show live that day when we had it, but they were okay with what Scott Arniel said. A lot of people are applauding that, and I think that is.
I applauded it too. I appreciate.
Well, there's a standard.
Yep. That
has been set. So if you just if you don't stay to that standard, don't ask for that same standard every game, then you're going to have issues. And I think how we handled it was perfect. And then you saw what happened because although Makar, Rantanen, and McKinnon got their opportunities, which it feels like inevitable half the time that's going to happen. The Jets responded and played another solid defensive game against Colorado. And it's crazy to think that in the game started by Connor Hellebuck against Colorado, the last four, I'm going back to last year in the regular season, we've only got out 2 goals.
Yeah.
And those 2 came on Wednesday in Denver. So it was just such – and you didn't have Adam Lowry either on top of that. And you had new look lines. So – it's a continuation of when the lines aren't the same as they have been all through this year, that the system continues to win out because the players I bought into that system, and it showed again on Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely. It's by committee now is how Scott Arniel described it with no Adam Lowry in the lineup. Quickly, we're going to get to Morning Skate in a moment. Guest today, very much looking forward to having Brian Hayes, the host of TSN's Overdrive, join us in just a short little bit. Based out of Toronto is the show, but you can see them nationally on the TSN network as well. And they have been talking a lot about the Winnipeg Jets and about Connor Hellebuck as well, and whether or not he should be considered for the Hart. So looking forward to asking that and having some discussion with Brian as well. So should be great. But let's get to Morning Skate for the Jets.
Okay, yeah, there's so there was some rumblings, obviously, when you're always looking on the ice who's there and who's not there. And out comes Brad Lambert, who was recalled before the morning skate because Nikolai Ehlers was not on the ice. And Scott Arniel letting everybody know that he's feeling under the weather. And there's a big question mark whether or not he plays tonight. So that's where Brad Lambert enters the picture. And is this a good time to show what the projected lines will look like? Okay. That's what you said about the morning skate, right?
Yes.
That's what you're trying to get at.
It is.
Okay, hold on a second. I see what you're getting at. Connor Scheifele-Velarde back together.
There you go.
They were apart for so long. They're like, but this is too long. Put you guys
we
back
must
together.
put them back together. Should Brad Lambert get into the lineup tonight if Ehlers is not good to go, because you mentioned game time decision, but if not, then he will be likely to start on that fourth line, centering the fourth line. We'll see how that goes. Wondered, they had just sent Dominic Toninato down.
Right.
Moose, or reassigned him to the Moose, and then kind of this illness, flu bug. I heard some coughs going through the room today. So I think that they're probably having to deal with something there. But Lambert comes up. One of the benefits, if you have Lambert in the lineup, if he plays, is obviously his ability to contribute on the power play.
Yes.
And he was in morning skate, he was on that second power play unit.
And that means Cole Perfetti moves up from the second power play unit to the first unit. And we've seen this before when Nikolai Ehlers was out earlier this year. Cole Perfetti slotted in nicely on that top power play unit and didn't miss a beat at all. So, and we've almost seen, the world's best third line is almost reunited with Niederreiter and Appleton on the wings. Adam Lowry, of course, has to take steps aside for a moment. They were so close to being back together. But there is Rasmus Kupari who's done a great job in the whenever he's been called upon to play in the third line center role.
Absolutely. You look at your deep pairings as well. Hey, Dylan Sandberg's birthday today.
Yeah.
So let's see. Maybe he's got something big in store for the Jets fans tonight.
Well, you can watch the podcast, Ground Control. Go
there
right
you
now.
go.
It's Dylan Sandberg. We don't talk about his birthday, though, so you can leave that part out. But back with Neil Pionk, who was the hero on Wednesday. How about, it's amazing how people have this very good recollection of the things that happened. And when Pionk scored in overtime, I'm already thinking he did that exact same shot in overtime against the Avalanche 2 years ago.
Right.
I didn't have the exact date, but I remember because I was there.
Which I always find impressive. So maybe that should have been our question of the day.
Yeah.
As soon as if you were watching the game and you saw Pionk score, did you immediately think, I have seen that goal before in Denver?
And you heard ping off the bar, it was just and the exact same spot on the right side. The only thing different back in 2022 is Mason Appleton made a great play on Nathan McKinnon to take him off the puck, which allowed Pionk to head up the ice and take the shot. But it was a phenomenal shot, and the fact that he goes bar down is what a way to score a game-winning goal, and especially to win there.
Yes, absolutely. I did not immediately remember it.
That's okay.
But I'm not great with remembering all the goals.
So
I'm just not. There are many people like you that can remember and go,
useless information.
Don't you remember?
The Ministry of Useless Information.
In 2018, I think it was that random February game against, I don't know, Columbus. And I think it was in the third period
See, look, hockey lovers, immediately they remembered.
Yes, that's tremendous for it. I wish I had. It would be so beneficial to me. That's why I have a notebook with me because I need to write everything down.
But you remember important things that are actual things that are going on. This is kind of.
Well, one might think that for what we do for a living, it would be beneficial if I had
That's
that
why
quick.
I'm here, Sarah.
There
remember the useless information part? You handle the show.
What a team. One of the, So anyways, looking forward to.
Okay, AJ is showing off. He just see October 19, 2022. Well.
Okay. Did you remember that though? No. Look that one up.
It's so hard to trust people.
If you haven't seen it on the Jets social channels, there is the video of Paul Edmonds calling.
Yes.
And it was a great call, which I love listening to Paulie's calls.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much enthusiasm and it just gets you.
Well, Winnipeg Sports Talk does a great job of editing it right away and getting them out.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Just a short while ago, I caught up with Vlad Nemesnikov as we set up tonight's game.
Did he remember the goal?
Home after the quick road trip. All right, let's talk about the way that things ended in Denver. Obviously, with Pionk's goal, and you go out there for overtime. Maybe not the trio that we typically see out there. How much do you enjoy that opportunity, though, to be in a position like that, and maybe even with the space that you guys have out there?
Yeah, for sure. That's the main part. It opens up and lots of space to skate, and I think we took advantage of it and got the 2 points.
Yeah. How do you describe Neil's goal?
It was amazing. I was kind of behind him, thinking he was going to pass it back to me, but he took the shot, and it was amazing.
You have the opportunity to face Utah again. Obviously, the description of the game afterwards, the results from when you were in Utah. How much do you enjoy having that opportunity to face them again right away? Maybe leave a different taste in the mouth this time around.
Yeah, that's what's nice about this league is, we get them back, 3 days later. We weren't happy with the result in Utah. Everything kind of went wrong in that game. We didn't play our way, and we can fix it and go out and change that thing.
So what is something from the Jets' perspective that you need to do well tonight in order to get off to that good start?
I think just start from the first minute and play all 60 minutes. I think in Utah, we didn't come out in the second period hard, and that's when they started rolling. So we have to be ready for all 60 minutes.
When you look at your line for tonight, or at least how we're anticipating starting, what is it that you feel you three can do well together?
We played together last year a lot, so the chemistry is definitely there. But with all the injuries and sicknesses, things change, and we just got to go out there and play hockey.
Do you look around sometimes right now and go, oh, more injuries? Like everything just seems to be happening at once right now.
Yeah, but that's hockey, and nothing you can do about it. You just got to go out there and play.
Good luck tonight. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
I love how he says, I thought he was going to pass it back to me.
He goes,
I had a better shot.
That's,
yeah, I probably would have scored, but
you know what? If it had been reversed and it had asked Neil about that,
yes,
and he probably would have said, great goal, but he should have passed it back.
Probably,
to me.
I was
give
open.
Give it to the defenseman. Give it to the guys on the blue line. They always love making that joke, huh? That's what we always say. You got to get us the puck.
Same with offensive linemen. Give them all the credit.
There you go.
Mary Jane, number 4, needs a bobblehead. He sure does.
That would be a great one.
And in this motion.
Oh, nice. Look at you, huh?
It's coming. If that bobblehead comes out, I get royalties.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. Looking forward to, just quickly, I think Brian Hayes will join us momentarily. Coming up tonight, though, latest edition of Runway. We've talked about it a little bit recently and promoted the idea that it was the mom's trip or the moms and sisters trip.
Yeah,
it is one of my favorite episodes so far. It puts, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
Puts the dads to shame.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
They brought the energy.
Our last ladies guest trip was in January 2020, so we were definitely due for a moms and sisters trip.
As much as the dads like to take credit, I know you guys are the foundation.
Well, it's great to see the practice with the moms, and I feel like I'm kind of at home.
Back for the line, DeMello shoots, he scores!
I have all the moms cheering and stuff, dancing with our big heads in our childhood photos. It was pretty sweet.
About time, buddy. Come on, put it together, guys. We got this.
So that was Gabe Velarde's mom at the very end. I said to Gabe actually today and was talking to him after morning skate and said, your mom seems like she might steal the show now.
Okay. Can't wait
tons
to
of personality. And
I can't wait to hear from our next guest who waited patiently because he should see the trailer for Runway because he should watch it tonight, but he might be busy. Is Brian
He
Hayes
will.
from
Once Overdrive is done.
Yeah. Immediately we'll tune into the Winnipeg Jet game.
That's right.
Which is on TSN.
He's a closet fan.
He
talks about how much, he likes the Jets.
Yeah.
Noodles shows support. By the end of this season, we're bringing Brian Hayes onto the train.
To tell us how great the Jets are.
That's right.
Oh, hi, Brian. Oh, there you are.
You don't have to tell me. They're my team in the Western Conference. Right? It's an easy cop-out. Out east, obviously tracking the league, so what's going on here. But it's not too hard to jump on that. It's a bandwagon, isn't it? They've been the best team in the league all year. Maybe I should have jumped on them years ago when they were kind of fighting for their playoff lives and it would have been more authentic. But they've been the hottest team, best team in the league, and they're a lot of fun to watch. So I'll get done with Overdrive today, pop on the Jets game, and fully expecting a win.
Brian, hearing that we can't hear you a little bit.
There you
So okay. Hey,
There we
okay, let's start that again. And take 2, go. Brian.
You guys
You're
got
a
me?
huge Jets fan.
Yeah, now we
You're
got
a
you.
huge Jets fan.
Huge Jets fan.
Repeat that again.
Go.
Yeah?
They are my team west of the Ontario-Manitoba border. I am a absolute huge fan of the Jets. They're my team in the Western Conference, and that's what I was rambling about. I'm not jumping on Edmonton's bandwagon. No chance. Vancouver, they're a sinking ship, or it feels like it right now. And the Jets have been the hottest team in the league all year, right? Maybe it's front running a little bit. It's like being a Chiefs fan right now, or being a Yankees fan or a Dodgers fan. The Winnipeg Jets have been the best team in the league all year, and they're a blast to watch. So yes, you got me. You don't have to sell me on anything. I'm rooting for the Jets.
Yes.
I feel like take 2 was better than take 1, so well done.
Thank you.
Brian, when you guys, it seems on a daily basis. I mean, before I've been on with you, I've told you I love Overdrive. Poor Jamie, I think on probably a daily basis, to be honest.
Yeah.
I come in and I go, so on Overdrive yesterday,
Hayes
they
said
were saying, Hayes
at
said this.
5:57 p.m. Eastern time, Hayes
We
said.
put you guys in runway. We love you. But one of the things that you guys have been talking about are which players might be up for the Hart or the strongest contenders. I know that you guys have been mentioning Connor Hellebuck too. Do you think there is a chance that this could be the year that a goalie is in serious contention for it?
Absolutely. I think he is in serious contention. I think if he's off anyone's ballot, and I understand they're not being handed in, in the end of January right now, but I think that's lunacy. And I think for a couple of different reasons. One, there is precedence of goalies winning Hart trophies in the past. It doesn't happen often, but it's happened 3 times in the last 30 years. Carey Price did it. Jose Theodore did it. And obviously Dominic Hasek did it multiple times. That's 3 times in the last 30 years. We don't need to reference something from the 40s or 50s here. It does happen. It has happened. Again, generally speaking, it's who's the best player on the best team. That checks a lot of boxes, right? Again, the Jets have been the best team in the league all year. Hellebuck's the best player. And when you look at the fact that he's a throwback and he plays basically every single night, he's got the numbers, he's got the eye test. There's so much that leads me to believe that he is in contention. And I think the door could be open for him to win, because more often than not, when it comes to the MVP voting, it does build with like narrative, right? It gets beyond actually the statistics and looking at specific underlying numbers. It becomes, feel good stories, or when was the last time something like this happened, or who are you competing with, right? A lot of times it becomes a battle royale. And I think Leon Draisaitl's been phenomenal this year. Obviously, I think Nathan McKinnon's been great this year. Couple of defensemen that could be in the hunt, and that's even more rare to see a defenseman chase down a Hart Trophy. But for me, Hellebuck's been one of the 3 or 4 best players in the game this year, bar none. If they end up first overall winning the President's Trophy, if he starts like 65 plus games and leads in every statistic, how's that different from what Carey Price did a decade ago, or Jose Theodore? I guess the argument against it would be those teams backdoored into the playoffs and they needed their goalie to do it. But I think the Jets need Connor Hellebuck to chase this top seed. And if they accomplish it, they're going to accomplish it because of him. So I'm absolutely full bore, full steam ahead on the idea that Hellebuck is in the hunt for the Hart this year. And if he continues on this pace, I don't think it should surprise anybody if he ends up winning it.
I know O-Dog's not in studio very often nowadays. He's usually back at his suite, whether it's paid for by TSN. He gets all the comforts and everything, gets all his water, gets all his food. But I know he has, loves Adam Lowry. Do you hear that a lot from O-Dog about the Jets captain? And
yes.
And your thoughts on the Jets captain?
Yeah,
as well?
I love him. I mean, he's pound for pound one of the toughest players in the game too, right? We talked about Hellebuck being a throwback because he plays every night. Lowry's got that kind of throwback power forward ability as well. And actually Noodles played with his dad, I think, and worked with his dad. So we've got the Dave Lowry connection. Noodle loves Adam Lowry. And again, as I've expressed here, I'm a Winnipeg Jets super fan. So he's the captain of my favorite team in the Western Conference. So I would follow suit with all that. But he's a throwback, and he's unique in the country when you compare him to the other captains around the country. I guess Michael Backlund would be somewhat similar, because again, we just said Hellebuck's the best player on the Jets. Scheifele's been phenomenal. Connor's been great. Morrissey's great. He's Adam Lowry's not a superstar, yet he's clearly so important to what the organization represents. Clearly the city loves him, and I would rely on you two to speak more on that, but I think it's pretty clear. I think everyone outside of Winnipeg picks up on that. It's such an honor for him to be named captain. And again, it's not McDavid, it's not Matthews, it's not Crosby, it's not Ovechkin. That just speaks to how, he's a heart and soul type guy, throwback guy. And, the injury is, you wonder where that's going with him and how it's going to affect the team. But I'm a big Adam Lowry fan. And I think if you love hockey, I don't see how you could be anything but that.
You mentioned Ovi, Brian. So you look at him now, he is 20. It's remarkable to me, to be honest, that with the season that he had last year, the injury that he had this year, he's now only 20 goals away from Gretzky's record. The Jets play in Washington a week from now. Can you put this into context for us? Like, from your perspective, are you excited about this chase? What do you think about the fact that he is that close to Gretzky's record at this point in his career?
Yeah, I have not it hasn't sunken in, I guess is the best way to put it, Sarah, because it's a Wayne Gretzky record that just always felt completely unattainable, like not even a discussion point at any point in my life. The idea that anyone would chase down this bold of a number, anyone would chase down, any of Gretzky's great records, 50 goals in 39 games, the amount of assists, the amount of points, any of it, just it felt staggering. Like we all grew up in Canada and it was like, no one can touch that. No one ever could touch it. No one ever will touch it. And it's going to happen now. Like, that's the amazing thing here. It's a formality. Like, Ovechkin's going to break it. He might do it this year. If not, he'll do it next year. He'll play another 5 years if he has to. He's going to break it, right? It's going to happen. So I am excited for the idea of the buildup once he gets inside 5 goals. Then I wonder, will Gretzky be in attendance? At that point, does Bettman show up? What do they do? Because it's such a unique event. Like, when he breaks it, obviously the league shuts down immediately and everyone salutes the guy, but he's an absolute machine. And, you mentioned last year, he had a really tough start. The first 40 games of the year, he was not anywhere close to the Alex Ovechkin that we've seen throughout his career. And he completely turned that around in the second half. And this year he's been phenomenal. And he had the injury, and it was a pretty substantial injury. And that's the amazing thing about this guy is he's not a young guy. I think he's 39 now. He never misses games. When he does, he just comes back as if he doesn't miss a beat. And he's doing it. And I think this is an important element in terms of speaking of, the excitement that comes with it. It doesn't feel cheapened because Washington's been so good, right? Yeah. Washington's been the Winnipeg of the East. Like from the start, they've been basically the best team in the East. They won again last night in Seattle. They beat Edmonton the other night. Like, it feels like they're going to win the East. So it'd be different if they were tanking and it felt cheap because it's like, all right, just see what we can do to get Ovi out there, leave him on the power play for 2 minutes, play him 25 minutes a night. That's not happening. Like, he's doing this and he's chasing Gretzky within the lane of team success. And I think that adds to it that much more.
We were just talking about this a little before we came on, Brian, about our favorite athlete interviews. We'll start with you, and then Sarah and I'll go on a bit later about it. But you've had so many athletes, you've had so many people on your show, you've had a long career. Who's been your favorite athlete interview in your time?
Sarah Orlesky, without question.
She's a tremendous athlete. You're right. Yes.
Supreme Winnipeg athlete. Everyone knows that.
Don't let the turtleneck fool you. She is a great athlete. She is. She looks like she's going skiing after the show, but don't let that fool you.
Okay. So putting Sarah aside for a moment, it's weird because you do it every day and you kind of lose sight of how many different people you've interviewed. Like, I've interviewed Gretzky, multiple times, and it's always like nerve-wracking that you're speaking with Wayne Gretzky. And what are you going to talk about? Are you going to talk about the modern game? Are you going to talk about his career and records and what he's doing with his life? One interview that was really cool because of the moment in time was we had Charles Barkley on during the NBA Finals in 19 when the Raptors won. So, he was in town, which made it that much cooler. Like, he was staying downtown. I think he was in Yorkville or something. So he's talking about his hotel and we can relate to it. And that's what made it really feel different is we're talking about a local team in the Raptors. They're in the NBA Finals. Barkley's in town. He's talking about where he's going for lunch. Like, it just felt that much more relatable for us in our audience because it's Barkley, the big personality, and he's in Toronto talking about the Raptors and his life, living in Toronto. So that was one I'll never forget. We've tried to get him on since, and I think he's blocked our numbers. So it's probably never going to happen again. But at the time, it was awesome.
You need Rod Black to hook you up.
That's
two.
Right.
Every time.
Rod hooked it up the first time, sir. We had to bottle Rod. And Rod's like,
you can't keep going to the well. That's all. Yeah, you got your one time.
Yeah, exactly.
Brian, appreciate your time, my friend, and we'll send you one of these. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yes, absolutely. Please do. Great seeing you. Thank you for having me.
You earned this. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Brian. Really appreciate it.
You got it.
Brent Hayes. Great show, by the way.
It's a fantastic show. So you can listen to it 3 to 6 online. Oh, I'm not there yet, but okay. 3 to 6 through the TSN app for TSN Radio, TSN 1050, but it's also broadcast nationally on TSN channels. And I have to say that one of the things that I love most about that show is my husband used to always get after me because he'd go, how can you watch radio on television? Yeah. You can, because the facial expressions and the interactions between Jamie McClennan, Jeff O'Neill, and Brian Hayes, fantastic. But
That would be no good to listen on the radio because you would miss all that stuff.
This is how much of a nerd I can be sometimes, that I will listen to it while driving and think and laugh out loud and think, I have to go find the video of that just to see, because it's great. Anyways, don't miss out. It was so nice of Brian to be able to join us. They have been talking a lot of Winnipeg Jets recently.
As they should. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
What are these? What's going on?
So we tried to get Jamie into one of these. All kids apparel today, 30% off. Whether you are coming to the game or online as well, all kids apparel, 30% off. I said, please send something down in a size that maybe Jamie could squeeze into. Alas,
What is that one?
Youth small.
Yeah, that's not going on.
He was going to try, but he figured no.
You know those videos of that boys when they put their head through between the two poles?
Yeah.
And they can't get out.
That would be you.
That would be me.
No.
Yeah, that thing. I can't get this off.
For it.
Then I have to pay the 30% off for the shirt to pay for it after I wrecked it.
So
okay.
Anyways, that's that. If you're looking for something for a gift or for your children, great deal for that. Utah coming into tonight's game, played last night in Minnesota. They do not have a morning skate with the back-to-back, but they have actually played really well on the road this year. 12-8-3, their road record better than their home record. They currently sit outside of the playoff picture.
With 4 points back, Calgary. So,
yes.
Yeah, they're coming. Like as you saw, they're very good structurally, defensively. It was very hard for Winnipeg to get to the front of the net, which is something that they're going to have to improve upon, obviously, tonight.
Absolutely. They've won their last 3 games, St. Louis, Winnipeg, Minnesota. So divisional opponents, they've outscored them 13-4 in the process. These teams have played three times already this season. Yeah. When you include tonight, their final game, April 5th in Utah. One interesting note, power plays. Since we discussed that before last game about how the Jets have not had many.
Yeah.
They have had, I believe, 2 power plays in the season series so far to Utah's 6.
Okay.
The difference, Winnipeg's penalty kill has been great in those games. They have gone 6 for 6, stopping all of them. Power play 1 for 2. So
yeah, lots of fun coming tonight. So the start's going to be obviously integral to what's going to happen here this evening.
Absolutely.
Because you're wondering, you have to jump on a team that played the night before, and take advantage of that situation. And Winnipeg's done a great job of that this year.
Yep. Again, possibility that Brad Lambert draws in. He was called up this morning. Questions about Nikolai Ehlers, who will be a game time decision. Expecting Connor Ingram to be in net for Utah, I would think, given the back-to-back. And then Connor Hellebuck looks to get the call tonight. Very quickly before we wrap up, prospect report you have put out.
Yes, I just recently talked to Brad Malone, who's the head coach of the Oshawa Generals. Colby Barlow, Jets' top first-round pick a couple years ago, got traded to Oshawa, who was a powerhouse in the Ontario Hockey League. Took him a little while, didn't have any points in his first 6 games, starting to turn things around. And the part of the interview that stood the most is Brad Malone said, I've been telling Colby the top 6 in Winnipeg is full. So you're going to have to figure out another way to play in the National Hockey League, which I found very honest.
Yeah.
And he said you're going to have to figure out a checking role in some ways.
Yep.
To start. And I think that's great vision from Brad Malone in that aspect. But check it out. Prospect report available on winnipegjets.com.
Also, if you're coming to the game tonight, the wives and girlfriends of the Winnipeg Jets players are doing a pet food drive in support of Winnipeg Humane Society.
Okay.
Bring a pet food item, drop it off. You will be entered right there to win a post-game meet and greet with a few players. So we know how passionate this group is about animals.
Yes. As shown by the calendar.
Absolutely. Yeah. So doing their part for us. So if you are heading down, if you are able to, make sure that you bring a donation as well for pets. That would be fantastic.
All right. Good show, I think.
Well, Brian carried it. We should have Brian, that voice, huh?
Yeah.
It's just so.
He thought he could just use his voice to carry all the way to Winnipeg when he was talking, obviously. So
obviously, that first.
Thank you to all our viewers that pointed out we couldn't hear him.
Yes.
Yeah, but he recovered nicely, I thought.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Very nice of him, Joyce. Don't forget, new Runaway episode tonight as well. We will be back on Sunday. It is an early start time for us on Sunday, so it's a 5 p.m. game, but with some things going on, we need to go earlier. So make sure you join us at 10:30. Grab a coffee, sit back, enjoy, get in on the chat as well. We know that there's so many familiar names in the chat right now. So
Ryan Leslie will be back. We'll have a Calder Trophy update.
on Dustin Wolf.
Dustin Wolf.
We just want to tell, I think, so Sunday, our idea is, since we've already seen Calgary, and yes, Jamie and I will set up the game, but we want to just tell stories with Ryan.
Yeah.
Who obviously has great personality. The three of us all go back many years as well. And to be able to tell some stories about interviews like what Brian told us today, various things like that, and hopefully a lot of laughs to kick off your Sunday as well.
Especially how he carved you for how long your story was.
Just like that part right there.
Yeah.
All right. Whatever.
We're gonna go with that one.
Internet.
That's what stood out to me from that one.
This is the internet. Jamie's typing on the internet like this. All right.
All right, everybody.
Thanks so much for checking in, everyone. We hope you have a great day. Don't forget tonight's game is on TSN. You can always listen on CJOB as well.